Hello, welcome to the Real Estate Regroup Show. I am your host, LJ Walker, a real estate investor presenting information that will shift your thinking on how you can own a home or invest in one. Today's show, I will be discussing independent living for the disabled, primarily how one can be disabled and go about home ownership. First thing I would like for you to do is to visit this website for resources on both funding and your different options. That would be http://www.disabled-world.com/American-home-loans.php. It breaks it down state by state, all the different programs that are available for people on disability who want to go about owning their own home. Next is HUD. HUD has counselors for the disabled who are interested in owning homes as well, and they can also provide you with different funding that's available that is state specific. You would go to www.hud.gov/SFH/HCC/HCS.CFM for more information. When you go about getting a loan, credit unions might be a little bit easier in obtaining one than if you were to go through the bank. The bank will be a little bit more stringent. They are looking for you, first of all, to have good credit because the income level is so low. When you're choosing a bank to get a loan, make sure they have what they call gross up, because many of you who are disabled, you're not taxed on the amount of income that you receive. So they're basically supposed to add an extra 25% to your income to make you qualify for whatever home it is that you're applying for. Or you can also get pre-approved, of course. Next, you might want to also look at NACA. NACA is at https://www.naca.com, and they will give loans based on your character, not your credit. Their requirements is that you do attend some classes in which they teach you about home ownership. The next area that you want to look into is the Federal Housing Administration, FHA, which only requires that you put down 3.5% towards your down payment. Or if you're looking in a rural area, you can get a USDA home loan. Next, you may also want to consider Fannie Mae Community Home Choice Program, which offers disabled borrowers low down payment programs, mortgage qualification aid, lenient credit evaluation, and the ability to include your rent payments from your boarders in your home as part of income toward you buying the home that you wish to have. Next, another area to consider is IDAs. Those are individual development accounts. These are matching savings programs. They're not just available for the disabled, they are available to anyone who applies, basically. You can get this information from the local health and human services offices in your area, or you can get it from a website called https:// prosperitynow.org /map/IDAs. Now, when looking at IDAs, just be mindful that all of them are not for home ownership. Some of these programs are for people who want to buy a car, who want to go back to school. So just make sure that you're choosing the right IDA for home ownership if that's what you're looking for. Next, I want to address those of you who are on SSI through the Social Security Administration, or some of you are on OA, SDI, and DI. You may think that you can't buy a home, but actually you can buy a home and still be on these programs. Housing, particularly your primary residence, is not counted as an asset, so it will not be considered a strike against you if you use that money to purchase home. Even the land that it's on, like let's say you bought a farm, the money you make on that farm, the money that you make in that house because you rented out the rooms as an Airbnb, or maybe it's a multi-family, so you have an extra tenant, that is not considered an asset. It will not be a strike against you. You will not be thrown off the program if you go ahead and do that. However, with these programs, any additional property that you buy would be considered an asset. And to them, you can't have an asset that's over $2,000 to $3,000. It depends on what state you're in. And as you know, there's very few states in the United States where you can get a house for $2,000 or $3,000. The only one that comes up to mind right now is St. Louis, Missouri, and Gary, Indiana. You might be able to find places with homes that cheap, but otherwise not too much. Even Detroit has gone up in prices. Now, there is some circumstances where they will allow you to leave the home. For example, let's say you're on SSI and you have to be admitted to a nursing home or to a hospital. If you have a dependent or a spouse that lives in that home, they're still not going to consider that house an asset, so you don't have to worry about anything. If you sell that home due to some sort of hardship and it would cause even greater harm to those who co-own the home with you, then it's still not considered an asset. It's still exempt. Or if you have to leave the home due to domestic violence. Yes, some people who are disabled are in volatile relationships also, and they will not hold it a strike against you if you leave the home for that particular reason. Now, let's get back to trying to own a home under SSI. You must keep your award letter if you're new to the SSI program, or hold on to the cost of living form. That's what you need to submit to the lenders in order to qualify for a loan. If the amount of money that you make is really too little, the other thing that you can do is you can partner with someone who has a little bit of extra money. Now, I've done some calculations, I've done some research. $42,000 to $60,000 is normally the maximum in which you can buy under those particular programs, which limits your choices of what you can get. So let's look at some choices. Number one, you can go to the Hud Program, and you can go under Hud's website and you can look to see what properties they have available. Normally, you will have to do some fixing up or hire somebody to fix it up. You can also do foreclosures. Sometimes foreclosures require that you bring them up to code as well. If you are on SSI, you can also get the Section 8 housing voucher, which you want the home voucher, not the rental. The home voucher allows you to buy a home. To look into that, go to https://www.hud.gov/topics/housing_choice_voucher_program section_8-. If you are in New York City, finding a home between $42,000 and $60,000 is really going to be tough. But here are your alternatives. Mitchell-Lama still has apartments that are for $30,000. Many people who have been in the Mitchell-Lama program for a long time have passed on. Their children no longer live in New York City, don't intend to move back to New York City. So a lot of buildings who had closed applications have now reopened their applications. I know somebody who waited, it used to be that you had to wait 5 years for an apartment to buy. This person waited 1.5 years. So it's actually getting better to a certain extent. Next, you have the TIL program. The TIL program in New York City allows you to buy your apartment that you live in for $250. However, 80% of the people in your building must also agree that they want to buy their apartment. So that would take a whole lot of convincing. In Washington, D.C., they have something called the Tapa Act, which is very similar to the TIL program. It's not a set amount of $250. It is going to vary by building and by individual. There is some leeways, if you will, for those who are disabled. So you may want to contact a lawyer to assist you with that, with helping you secure that particular program. And I believe with the Tapa Act, you don't have to have that many people in your building agree to buy that particular building. As a matter of fact, since President Trump took over, they have greatly modified that particular act in DC. So definitely check with the lawyer to see what the new regulations are and how they affect you. The other thing, going back to New York City, is we have something called the ANCP program, which allows you to buy your apartment for $2,000. And again, if you are on SSI and if you are with the Section 8 Voucher Home Ownership Program, you can use that to buy the ANCP apartment, TIL program apartments, and also your Mitchell-Lama apartments. Next, let's talk about Medicaid. Some people confuse Medicaid with SSI. They're actually two different programs. Medicaid gives you a little bit more leeway. With Medicaid, again, it depends on the state. You can buy a house between $572,000 to $858,000. That house has to be your primary residence, or it can be a form of self-support. So in this case, you can have more than one home and be on Medicaid. What's the stipulation? You can't make more than $2,000. Anything more than $2,000 is considered income. Now let's talk about modifying your home. If you have a child and your child is on SSI, you can use that SSI money to modify the home to make it more accessible for your child. There's another program many of you are familiar with, and that's Habitat for Humanity, that builds homes for all people, whether they're abled or disabled. But what many people don't know is that they have a down payment and mortgage payment assistance program for all, and they'll definitely help those who are disabled. Next, you have Veterans Affairs Specially Adapted Housing Grants and the Homes for Our Troops, which is designed for permanently injured vets. This money is used to retrofit the home they already live in or one that they are about to purchase. Then you have the American Association of People with Disability. They give you $1,500 to $25,000 to upgrade your home. Next, You still have the Harp program out there. That's to help those of you who are a bit underwater. It's the Home Affordable Refinance Program. And you also still have HAMP, which is the Home Affordable Modification Program, which also prevents you from getting a foreclosure. Mind you, and lastly, when it comes to funding, the IRS also gives tax credits. So if you're newly disabled, you want to definitely mention that to your accountant so that he knows to take that off when doing your taxes. Going back to those of you who want to buy a home, everybody, whether they're abled or disabled, they should have a checklist of whatever it is their needs are first. If you're disabled, I'm thinking you might want to consider being near transportation, pharmacy, or a hospital. Next, after you find the home that you want, after purchasing it, you want to consider energy conservation grants and weatherization grants to help you out. Go to http://www.needhelppayingbills.com. It's organized by state, and it will tell you the exact name of the energy conservation or weatherization program in your state that will give you money for free. The next thing you should consider is taking some Home Depot classes on how to do a few things yourself. You might not be able to do everything, but having that background knowledge does help, because unfortunately, some contractors cannot be trusted, and some contractors are very expensive. So to cut down on costs, look at Home Depot, look at Lowe's, and there might be a few. I believe Ace Hardware sometimes also gives free classes when it comes to how to make modifications in your home. Now, there are going to be times when you are going to have to bite the bullet and hire a contractor. You want somebody who's experienced with accessible living. Don't just look at, the pictures that they may show you. It may be best for you to actually visit the location of where they actually perform their work to see whether or not you like it or not. Where you can go to find some of these contractors, if there's a senior living facility in your area, you can go visit them and you can ask them who it is that they used. You can also go to Home Depot. Your local Home Depot may have a list of contractors that come and buy from them. You still have to do your own due diligence, your own background check, and sometimes you just have to take a chance. You also have websites like homeadvisors.com, Who's, that's HOUZZ.com. And the ADA does have a directory. It's ada.directory/contractors.html. But their directory really wasn't that fulfilling. It only had like a few people on it throughout the United States. So you may have to, I would resort to the others first before going to ADA. When you are looking at modifying your home, consider the following: installing a higher toilet, putting in roll-in showers, pull out shower heads and sinks, widen the doorways in case you are a blind person, put in some slip-resistant flooring, lower your outlets, install some handrails, grab bars, and ramps. When it comes to decorating, for some ideas, you may want to check out Mr. Kate on YouTube. He did a wonderful design in this girl's bedroom. She's completely blind. I think she can see shadows though. Maybe not completely, but she can't really see that much. So what they did is they put a lot of highly censored objects in the room. They used a lot of texture. They put in fiber optic curtains and installed brighter lights for her to see, to feel, and to move around. So you may want to just check out that video and see for yourself. I'm thinking about incorporating some of the stuff in there, even though I am not disabled at the moment. I was a while back. There was a time when I tore my Achilles tendon and I was in a wheelchair for a moment there, but yeah, the design of the bedroom is real cute. So I'll definitely check out Mr. Kate on YouTube. And lastly, there have been some voice recognition apps that can connect with your home. There's one called HomeKit. It combines with both Siri and Alexa. And I believe there's another app called Hum, which allows you to do things like, turn on the lights, turn on the stove, turn off the stove, just by using your voice. So that's what's coming up in the future. Stay tuned, stay open to the new technology that's out there that will make your life easier, maneuvering around your home, whether it's a home that is new, a home you're about to buy, or a home that you currently live in. Well, guys, that's all I have for you for tonight. Hopefully, the information will inspire you to reboot your mind, reset your focus, and make smart financial moves. Feel free to pass it along. Remember, each one, reach one, teach one. Bye for now. Until next time.